Hello, I'm Dell from Unlimited Detail. The purpose of this particular demonstration is to show what games would look like if we were to use unlimited point cloud data. Let's begin by looking at something fairly common, the ground. The ground in nearly all games is a flat texture map, sometimes a bump map, with some polygon pieces of grass sticking up from it. This is an older example, just so you can understand what it is I'm talking about. And these are newer examples. It still hasn't changed much. We still have flat texture maps with pieces of grass being polygon panels sticking up. This here is ground made with unlimited point cloud data. What that means is we don't use flat polygons like flat pieces of cardboard. We use real 3D atoms. In the past, computers couldn't ever have processed 3D atoms in this amount. But unlimited detail is an algorithm for running unlimited 3D atoms. I know that sounds very strange. You'll have to go to some of the other video clips to understand how that's possible. So you can see a big difference. All of those little pebbles aren't a bump map. They're real geometry. They're real pebbles. Of course, we can put larger rocks on the ground now, we can put leaves, we can put anything we want in unlimited quantities. We've made some pretty extreme claims here at Unlimited Detail. We've said that we've boosted graphics by about 1,000 times. So I submit for your consideration, in the area of the ground, going from, well, one flat polygon with some flat polygons sticking up, to this level of geometry. If we were to build all of these objects out of polygons, every single little rock on the ground and the larger rocks, the grass, the leaves, twigs in some cases, we would well exceed the number of polygons we're using at present by 1,000 times. We're looking here at Armor 2, and we're looking at the base of a tree. This is actually a very good base of a tree. I think on our last demonstration we showed the base of the trees on Crisis, and they were 6 polygons. In Armor 2, the trees are considerably more advanced, as you can see, but I'm sure you can still see the polygons. Now if we have a look at trees made of unlimited point cloud data, please remember that there of course is going to be a difference between our artwork and the artwork of the games we're seeing. The games we're seeing have been done by professional artists, and they've done a fantastic job with the polygon counts that they had. On the other end, we have an unlimited polygon count, or an unlimited point cloud data count, but we're still in the draft copy experimental stages. So this is programmer artwork. When professional artists get involved, I'm sure your imagination can quickly project what it's going to look like. Looking up into the trees, of course that's going to be an area where you require a lot of geometry. It's going to quickly gobble up a lot of polygons. This is Half-Life 2, and the reason why I'm showing it to you is I can assure you that nearly everybody back in the days of Half-Life 2 was saying, wow, what amazing realistic graphics. We always think that graphics look incredibly realistic at the time that they're made. It's only later on when graphics are better and we look back that we say, oh, maybe there was room for improvement. Likewise, what will we think of today's trees when we look back? Plants and polygons just plainly aren't good friends. Here is what a tree would look like if you were to make it out of unlimited point cloud data. Every branch, every leaf, every twig, all real geometry. The scratches in the twigs and the branches, real geometry. Every little flake of bark, the whole lot. I think that is an area where we can easily say we have over 1,000 times more geometry. I would go one step further to say we have over 1,000 times more geometry in one of our branches than they have in their entire tree. That is not in any way to imply criticism upon the work of the artists who are using the polygon system. They have done a fantastic job working with what they had to use. Being a polygon artist is very much a case of you have to constantly come up with new tricks to stretch what little polygons you have. For example, if you have a look at these cups, that was pretty clever, I think. The coffee machine next to it is mostly square, and so it's the friend of the polygon system. It's round objects which are the enemy of the polygon system. It is in no way the fault of the artist that these flower pots look the way that they do. It just is simply that we just don't have enough geometry to make something that properly resembles the real world if we use the polygon system. So it makes sense, if there's a way of running unlimited point cloud data, that we should swap to it. I mean, all of these objects are meant to be round, and if you're going to make them out of things that are flat, then they'll never truly be round until you move down to so many of these little flat panels, these little flat polygons, that we're actually using point cloud data. Of course, games are more than graphics. These games are all fun, and I don't think that the graphics take away from the fun. But if we didn't keep striving for better graphics, then Nvidia, ATI and Intel would all be out of business. So would we. So for those whose business depends on it, we'd like to keep you focused on the room for improvement factor. Let's have a look at this rock wall. It looks quite good from a distance, but as we get closer, I assume your eye is well trained enough to see the polygons. In movies, CGI movies, things like Shrek and Final Fantasy, Nemo, stuff like that, their wireframes are at least 500 times more complicated than what we're seeing in games today. And for objects as geometrically intricate... Wow, I struggled with that word there. I promise you I do normally have a mastery of the English language. When it comes to rocks, if you want rocks that look more like real rocks, then may I humbly recommend using unlimited point cloud data. This is a little rock bridge. Please ignore those funny shadows which are flickering on and off. We're having an issue with the shadows on this particular demonstration. It's not a fault of the system. Shadow mapping is an entirely different section to what makes unlimited point cloud data. But we had to get this comparison video out pretty quickly and didn't have time to fix our shadow mapper.